I'd now like to call and ask that we observe a moment of silence for prayer, meditation, and dedication. Distinguished guests and our candidates, my name is Professor Flavia Senkobuge, and I am the President of the Colleges of Medicine of South Africa. Distinguished guests, my dear colleagues, parents, family, and our most special guests, the graduates. I'm always honored to stand among excellence and among leaders in our fraternity who ensured that I could stand here today in what will always be a historical moment as the first Black female president in the 65-year history of the Colleges of Medicine of South Africa. I recognize this fact at each and every single admission ceremony because it is important and because representation matters as it begins to move forward the needle on our gender and transformation agenda. This moment would not have been possible without the great leaders who went before me and paved the path, and I honor and thank them all. We hold this admission ceremony, ladies and gentlemen, during unprecedented times, where the whole world is battling the novel coronavirus disease, COVID-19. As an organization, the CMSA remains concerned with the ongoing disturbing inequities in COVID-19 vaccine access, particularly in our region. The honor of our profession impels us to speak out on this injustice. The CMSA leadership, the board, the Senate and staff, together with all our stakeholders and partners, will continue to work around the clock to ensure that the changes due to COVID-19 cause minimal disruption to our registrars, constituent colleges, examiners, stakeholders, and partners. We are acutely aware of the impact of our decisions and want to assure you that in all our decisions, we will use the most cutting-edge and current evidence, but most importantly, we will use heart. This virtual admission ceremony has been made possible by the incredible hard work of the CMSA leadership, the board, the senators, the constituent college presidents and council members, all our examiners, our candidates, our stakeholders, and partners, together with our staff. At this point in time, I really want to single out the staff members who are led by our CEO, Professor Eric Buch, and also our examinations and assessment director, Professor Vanessa Birch, together with Mrs. Yolokazi Kanzi, our academic registrar. It is through all your hard work, colleagues, that I can proudly stand here and say we are now recognized as global leaders in specialist medicine exams. With this, I welcome you to our admission ceremony and would like to introduce you to somebody who really needs no introduction in our fraternity, Professor Marion Jacobs. Professor Jacobs retired as the Dean of the Faculty of Health Sciences at the University of Cape Town in 2012, and she holds the position of Emeritus Professor at UCT. She also has previous positions of employment, which include Professor of Child Health and Director of the Children's Institute at the University of Cape Town, which was also employed as a community pediatrician in a joint position with the Provincial Health Department, and earlier as a community public health lecturer and specialist. Her global experience includes service as chair of the boards of governance of the Medical Research Council in South Africa, the Center for Health Research in Bangladesh, the Council for Health Research and Development, which is COERED in Geneva in Switzerland, and the African Population and Health Research Center, which is based in Nairobi in Kenya. Professor Jacobs has served as convener and member of a number of scientific committees in national and international congresses in the global health arena and has also co-authored a number of key publications over the course of her academic career. She currently chairs the Advisory Committee of the Academy for Leadership Management in Healthcare in the National Department of Health, and also serves as a member of the Technical Steering Committee for the World Health Organization's Maternal, Newborn, Child and Adolescent Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, Professor Marian Jacobs.
Professor Sekubunge, Professor Fagan, Platform Party, Professor Buch, Professor Birch, Diplomates and your families. Thank you so much for the honor of having been invited to speak at this admission ceremony and for the privilege of joining you in celebrating the culmination of a journey in these really unprecedented times. This has not only been an achievement for you as graduates, but also for the college, its administrators and your families, all of whom have been your greatest support. So biggest congratulations to you all. You are no ordinary group of graduates. I've learned that this cohort of 472 diplomates, with a few from as far afield as Gaborone, Blantyre, and even Nairobi, includes representatives of several disciplines. So collectively, you are making a huge contribution to healthcare in Africa. And you will continue to do so with your newly found skills and knowledge. I applaud you as health workers because you've come through the most grueling time with your journey from the day you registered to do the exam right until the time that you entered the exam, a journey that was almost paralleled by the journey of the coronavirus through our country, with its devastating impact in its wake. Through it all, you had to deal with your clinical services, with overtime, with late nights and hard days. For many months, most of you have been on the front lines of the pandemic as you stared rampant disease and mortality in the face. I'm no longer in clinical practice, but I can only imagine how profoundly you must have been consumed by stress, by fear, by exhaustion, and deep sadness. You were worried. You worried about your patients, about your families, about your peers, but you also worried whether you would actually get to the exam and then get through it with success. And when you got to the exam, here was another challenge. For not only was the format of the assessment so completely different from that you had ever experienced, but would the disaster management regulations actually allow the exam to continue? But here you are. You did it. And you're about to be admitted to the college. And you can really be so proud. Yet tonight, I commiserate with you, as while you are receiving your diploma, you've been robbed of the face-to-face ritual of the ceremonial admission ceremony, and especially the chance to wear this beautiful gown. So with apology, I digress quickly to share my own experience of graduation as a fellow of the college a mere 44 years ago. I was convinced that I had failed the exam, as I'm sure some of you may have been, as I'd been presented with a patient with a very complex cardiac condition. And worse, my examiner was one of the leading pediatric cardiologists in the country. So after my long case, I did a dash out of the hospital to my hotel, from where I was about to go and seek some solace in retail therapy. As I walked through the foyer of the hotel, I was called to the reception desk. There was a call for me from none other than my examiner. He was inquiring whether he would see me at grad that evening to return my stethoscope, which I had left in the ward as I fled. He confirmed that I had actually passed. I let out such a scream that the staff came running. I then rushed off to the college to collect the very last gown. That night, I walked up to the stage with my very long and very large gown trailing the floor, but with the biggest smile on my face. And so this evening, as you consider the next phase of your journey, albeit not trailing an academic gown, wherever you are, I hope you are celebrating your very well-deserved success with the biggest smile on your faces. And as you go back to the wards, to the clinics, to theatre tomorrow, you may want to take a few moments to reflect on what we've all learnt over the last year and a half, and what lies ahead for you. At the start of the pandemic, Arundhati Roy, an Indian architect best known for her authorship and political activism, wrote an essay titled "The Pandemic is a Portal," in which she asks, what is this thing that has happened to us? And I quote her, "It's a virus, yes," she writes. "In and of itself, it holds no moral breath." And she goes on, "And it has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt like nothing else could." But she continues, "In the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine that we have made for ourselves." And of course, all of us know this doomsday machine only too well. As we continue to witness the impact of the pandemic on society, spotlighting the cracks and disparities in our healthcare system, seeing the fragility of our economy further compromised by lockdowns, by loss of jobs and of income, and deterioration in all the facets of poverty, all of which have such a deleterious effect on health, of course. But Arundhati offers a word of hope, as she notes, and I quote, "Historically, pandemics have forced humans to break with the past and imagine their world anew. This one," she writes, "is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next." So we ask ourselves, what are some of the new learnings that accompany us as we traverse that portal? Firstly, we learned the Greek alphabet through the various virus variants: alpha, beta, lambda, delta, and now jumping a few letters to mu. So when we see Tullio de Oliveira, the bioinformaticist who's leading the genomic sequencing of the virus, appearing on TV with a new announcement, we wait with bated breath, as we know there are 19 more letters in the Greek alphabet. Will he continue to name 19 new virus variants across the whole Greek alphabet? What are we waiting for? Secondly, we have a new lexicon with new locations like congregant settings and drive-thrus for vaccines, not McDonald's. We also have new acronyms like PUI, VOI, VOC. We have new ways of greeting one another with elbows to ensure physical distancing. And then there's R0, the basic reproductive number that actually has nothing to do with obstetrics. Thirdly, we have PPE, which describes the personal protective equipment which you have all become accustomed to wearing. Some have suggested that PPE could also refer to another critical learning on how to flatten a different curve, the curve of the emotional impact of COVID on the health workforce that includes you. In this context, PPE is an acronym for Personally Protected Emotions, a term coined by Mary Taylor, a clinical psychologist at Northwestern University, who, like others, highlighted the critical need for supportive interventions for healthcare workers, especially those on the front line, who are carrying huge psychological burdens that most likely will have long-term effects. Numerous organizations have come to the fore to provide a host of mental health resources to prevent and address these burdens, and also to enhance personally protected emotions, the new PPE. Among these, the college is to be congratulated for having convened a webinar in the run-up to the last exam, at which Dr. Pete Milligan, a psychiatrist at Nkwelezana, advocated for a panoply of strategies for caring for yourselves as carers. I understand that the recording of that webinar is available on the college website, and I encourage you to download it. But what else do you have in your personal armamentarium to help you on your way to traverse the portal between the past world and the next? You will, of course, always have the Hippocratic Oath, the principles of which will continue to guide your moral and ethic practice wherever you are, in whichever healthcare setting. And in a world that is rapidly moving into artificial intelligence and robotics in health, you will always have your best tool, your hand, not only to be used for palpation and percussion, but especially for giving comfort. 10 years ago, Abraham Verghese, professor of internal medicine at Stanford University in the US, venerated the power of the physician's hand in a powerful TED talk entitled A Doctor's Touch, which he describes as a transformative ritual which is at the heart of the doctor-patient relationship. And he goes on to say that in a world where the patient in the bed has become an icon for the real patient that he calls the eye patient, the one in the computer, the most important innovation to be cherished is the power of the human hand to diagnose, to heal, to touch, and especially to give comfort. Every COVID hospitalization friend that I've spoken to talks about the comforting touch of the hand of the doctor or nurse in that very lonely place, the COVID ward. So I want to end with a story that I read on Instagram just a few weeks ago on the Heroes of Groote Schuur Hospital site, and was shared by a doctor who had been working in the COVID wards. And I quote, "I started dreading opening the doors to the ward, wondering which beds would be empty. There were moments it felt like all I did was move between beds to declare patients dead. The patients weren't fat and old anymore. They were my age, young and fit. And never in my life had I seen so many dead people in such a short time." But she says, though it's not the deaths that nearly broke me, it was balancing the emotions of the patients and their families that sucked out a piece of my soul every single time. She asks, what is the lesson I've learned from this experience? And she answers, let's be kind to one another. That is what got me through this time. Small gestures, like a biscuit from my consultant, a hug by a nurse when I had to do my third phone call of the day to report a death. So be kind, she says, as that is the only way broken medical personnel can come back to work the next day and the next way. And so, as you traverse the portal to the next world, armed with a college diploma, with knowledge and skills, but also armed with compassion, with kindness, and with comforting hands, I reiterate my huge congratulations to you and wish you the very best for the next phase of your career. After all, as Dr. Seuss says, congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. And will you succeed? Yes, you will indeed. 98.75% guaranteed. Congratulations and go well.
Thank you, Professor Jacobs, for that excellent presentation and speech. We'll now proceed to the admission of the diplomates. I'd now like to call on our Honorary Registrar, Professor Ngomezulu.
Our President, I present the following successful candidates for admission to the Higher Diploma in Emergency Medicine of the College of Emergency Medicine of South Africa, Shane Darren Murphy. Higher Diploma in Family Medicine of the College of Family Physicians of South Africa, Roche Veneta Apples, Laura Elizabeth Margaret Barras, Olukayode Olusegun Fajolu, Ibisem Hirbakwi Ep Lamadi, Kizito Eric Kasongo, Kabwa Kisimba, Kambola Didier Ngoi, Ramazani Roger Ngoi, Kabongo Ele Tsimpaka, Makubo Jacques Wamulaja, Mutamba Maximilian Yumutumba. Higher Diploma in Orthopedics of the College of Orthopedic Surgeons of South Africa, Mark Arendt, Frederick Johannes Dutoy, Kenneth Tunde Leslie, Dominic Nyanga Masiala, Tony Lutete Mavungu, Lindani Sibanda. Diploma in Anesthetics of the College of Anesthetists of South Africa, Fahima Akunji, Andres Nicholas Alberts, Abbas Ali, Bianca Gillian Amansure, Yusuf Amin, Chinedu Maxine Atanga, Teboho Megi Baloi, Anari Lucia Barnes, Jordan Daniel Somerville Belfort, Edwin Divet Bosman, Christian Buetha, John Michael Briet, Shane Brits, Nhlamulo Jabulani Vuma, Asha Chohen, Amanda Patricia Klute, Natasha Rosemary Perandonakis Kretikos, Abigail Kirsten Davis, Michael Ernest Davis, Migali Jean-Pierre Beatrice, Nathalie Marie de la Ketule de Rove, Morne Dilange, Nonsikelelo Nomonde Poshia Dineka, Anika Duplessis, Riaz Ibrahim, Craighan Ross Eddy, Gianni Ferreira, David Colin Fine, Siasanga Felix Folokwe, Michael Vincent Fauna, Lauren Enrica Freid, Ilam Gabir, Vincent Peter Griffiths, Anaza Fulufelo Gundula, Caitlin Hank, Albert Jagan Hanekom, Ayodele Iluyomade, Ngabisa Kangeleni, Julia Vanienga Kapofi, Razina Kaskar, Grace Kutso Kekana, Rahis Khan, Bridget Andile Kumalo, Tembe Kibibi, Lara Kate Kingwill, Bronwyn Faith Cross, Xoliswa Pamela Kubeka, Manenga Olifir Kwete, Kutulo Kadi Latakhomu, Zander Leroux, Jason Leroux, Boniwe Poshia Leeba, Jason Howie Leong, Babonke Lila, Ziad Mohamed Limalia, Kinsinguli Lutala, Andiswe Papama Madikezela, Zamasishi Pride Madlala, Lita Kitumetsi Malekele, Pabalo Palesa Mapena, Ntambeleni Mashau, Joseph Mashilo, Nhlanhla Jonathan Masuku, Monique McIntyre, Babuse Ngunu, Fahim Shakil Ahmed Mier, Hashal Jayantilal Mistry, Victor Richard Michel, Zamadlomo Samkeliswe Mkabela, T-shirt Joe Farid Mukhoto, Ufense Victoria Muhatla, Kiwikanse Doreen Muilwa, Yosenen Muakin, Nabila Mula, Marle Morrison, Marupeng Petrus Pet Mutwa, Musa Najia, Carissa Naidu, Kerissa Naidu, Sinesipho Ndedwa, Msizi Bukelakuye Colin Ndlovu, Manya Nithling, Voter Nel, Tadokazi Nosipho Ngelwane, Shungu Daniel Ngomo, Azola Ngoyo, Fikile Nontutule, Lizan Norche, Aza Papin Ntimane, Cebile Nokwazi Nchingila, Pumza Tuletu Nchinka, Elemba Odimboleko, Iva Orlam, Avela Pagati, Juniata Bugwandin Pandey, Samira Patel, Lungisa Petse, Dirk Pinar, Majid Pinar, Sanjula Pillay, Robin Haley Pretorius, Charles John Fenton Price, Merishen Pushet, Marwala Simon Pule, Mumeleli Masala Rabo Dietso, Perpetua Lola Madimakatso Ramakau, Ndwanbi Charles Ramatsia, Khulufelo Busetsang Rammala, Jackie Ras, Ruan Roche Rieders, Tillman Francois Ruos, Lisa Laura Rossi, Gerardus Andre Roth, Anessa Sally, Javed Sayed, Nabila Sayed, Sabira Sheikh, Slindile Confidence CBC, Bianca Siebold, Kwanele Sitonga, Samantha Therese Sneyer, Simon Nicole Solomon, Realize Tereblanche, Gundo Gloria Tataisa, Mutsidisi Buingotlo Tsulo, Bojidar Tsareveski, Rian van der Merwe, Thomas Philippus van der Merwe, Mogeshin van de Jaar, Jan Jacobus Andries Veschuel, Magdeli Hiti Vermeulen, Dean Haley Walsh, Lizelle Vieder, Alexander Schola Vekpe, Karin Wessels, Tawi Volvarat, Jeremy Yam Wong. Diploma in Child Health of the College of Pediatricians of South Africa. Adam Conrad Asgar, Lilja Napanda Dinomukwati Ashipala, Rien Bieker, Robert George Klute, Avigal Katla, Hilary N. de Bier, Nicole de Klerk, Sarah Catherine Dobson, Karen Embi, Terry Faye Fendale, Ayanda Michelle Fihlani, Ashira Gajathar, Rian Graham Gemiel, Chilwe Rose Gurke, Sharon Bronwyn Guy, Lahia Donateni Ipumbu, Ashley Job, Morne Frank Katz, Shaista Kalidas, Muda Higwa Pascal Kashwantale, Collins Mueletsi Kekana, Nontobeko Gileta Koza, Zamavezi Sinenhlanhla Kweyama, Tatenda Lois Mafana, Cebile Mahlalela, Nelly Precious Mahlalela, Elizabeth Margaretha Malan, Danielle Mandemakar, Pretty Eugene Mapaila, Daniela Marquis, Ketani Congress Mashava, Tandile Prudence Makleke, Kulani Maimele, Takisani Innocentia Mboweni, Zianda Kwanele Mwango, Dipalesa Murutani, Buitumelo Mosakwa, Maseakhane Saji Mosehla, Vonani Dorian Mpangela, Rainatha Naidu, Simbi Patricia Ndala, Hlakanipho Ndumiso Ngamu, Ketiwe Happiness Nkabinde, Ongezwa Alutre Nkai, Sibususiwe Cindy Nondumiso Nkosi, Helen Nkiruka Okafor, Emma Osmond, Pevishani Parayachi, Kali Louise Pachit, Rosalind Fiona Penjeli, Gabriela Tandeka Pereira, Jessica Price, Kaval Reddy, Miren Rugunanan, Ilham Samai, Donnell Joy Sauls, Mama Bitsela Katleho Petunia Siabela, Mitradev Seng Sie Wurt Tein, Mutlishi Juliet Selepe, Ashley Tyler Sent, Petunia Kanyisile Lungile Nontobeko Setlako, Cherry Pelisa Silent, Ntando Yenkosi Fanele Sibonge Simelani, Anisa Mohammed Salim Solwa, Abiola Ayabambo Soniyi, Tessa Kirsty Sattle, Mapulu Queen Tladi, Amy Uwineza, Johanna Isabella van der Merwe, Annette Fenter, Jordi Wire, Vuyo Simpiwe Yoto, Notando Millicent Zulu, Diploma in Forensic Medicine of the College of Forensic Pathologists of South Africa, Clinical, Diketso Fancy, Nomonde Noriki Nondiko Njalvan, Diploma in Forensic Medicine of the College of Forensic Pathologists of South Africa, Clinical Pathology, Masindi Sharon Maluyele, Diploma in Forensic Medicine of the College of Forensic Pathologists of South Africa, Pathology, Nontokozo Adelaide Mashile Makagula, Mukeba Nkashama, Sarah Pillay, Carmen Zenda Weyers, Diploma in HIV Management of the College of Family Physicians of South Africa, Priyanka Pratima Anauth, Samantha Jane Arnold, Jason Mark Bassett, Gabriela Lynette Benade, Francine Boysen, Savannah Brooks, Jivanesh Chetty, Joedin Chetty, Yomari Kutzer, Nicole Alexandra Farina da Silva, Mariska Annette Anechi Diong, Natasha Devuguele, Mrin-Marie Dar, Raisa Fakir, Andrew David Fori, Nicole Audrey Glover, Jessica Gonet, Kreshalen Govenda, Bert Jan Grat van Rogen, Rochelle Marlene Grobler, Uruj Hak, Datlas Grant Hill, Alida Maria Hugo, Umar Jacobs, Robert Willem Jaish, Roshini Jane, Jocelyn Jansen van Vieren, Leonid Tome da Costa Joaquim, Mithra John, Naomi Teboho Teki Johnson, Mutsita Kabongo, Anika Kemp, Caroline Sian Kitchen, Ezelius Keith Klein, Peter Willem Crick, Mikanda Kwabisha Kunda, Usanda Kuse, Christina Hester Landman, Frederick Rechter Landman, Moba Sylvia Lilahani, Tanita Blair Lund, Tsepang Mabala, Mampe Johanna Mabelani, Violet Lerato Maboja, Uduth Mabuza, Tamsana Goodwell Mabuza, Tandanani Matonsela, Ranbir Maharaj, Sohil Ferandra Maharaj, Lindiwe Rebecca Matlangu Mutsweni, Ashraf Mahomet, Sibongiseni Sanele Malinga, Jani Mare, Rina Mare, Muepeng Joyce Maseko, Nkululeko Michael Masinga, Eliano Matsila, Tafadzwa Mavua, Nokupiwa Monica Mbele, Clara Mackenzie, Bridget McMillan, Rushika Mita, Andre Mendelssohn, Gilad Mensky, Maputi Rosina Meso, Fabrice Lupema Milindi, Khomejo Miranda Mukhane, Lienachi Leni Mukhoba, Virginia Libone Muhlala, Puluko Lisedi Muloi, Akila Musa, Kopano Unity Mchobile, Riangwele Mukinindi, Bilei Mulenga, Tendai Esther Munanga, Kabula Mwambakana, Melandi Meberg, Sadia Nanabai, Tendo Miodo Ndou, Nakamuzi Francine Maguvuni, Mukendi Ngalamulume, Andiswe Ngobo, Guguletu Pearl Nondumiso Nhleko, Lindokuhle Nkosi, Menzi Buhle Nkosi, Humiara Nuerbai, Ilunga Eric Nsungu, Kumza Ntseke, Zoliswa Zakiti Nxumalo, Funeka Unathi Ncumisa Nyezi, Courtney Olifir, Sibongile Phakwago, Mahlatse Philippine Pochana, Bavinash Pillay, Nomampondo Sinoxolo Phoswa, Alicia Ramchander, Donald Matthew Robertson, Anika Roo, Ilk Ruben, Yashvir Rugbier, Eshad Sally, Tracy Lee Sanders, Kale David Schnar, Edward Kabo Sipirwa, Chiara Swenrain, Lutifia Shaikji Moti, Arifa Akhter Sheikh, Ninda Mirshaz Sidiki, Nosipo Sihle Simelani, Achita Seng, Yona Madila Skosana, Hendrik Bernadas Smith, Andrea Lindsay Smith, Cedric Pelelani Sosibo, Leandi Steinfart, Kim Lynn Stober, Ntibatse Rosera Tladi, Zintle Toi, Nicola Allen van Dongen, Marlene Hetty van Litzenbro, Shane van Staden, Zandile Kabanisa. Diploma in Internal Medicine of the College of Physicians of South Africa. Jessica Kapunaru Kat Jomusi. Mitesh Satish Kiora, Wendy Makeleni, Obi Mawire, Khaulatli Mutlayedi, Maria Velena Ludika Mulunga, Thomas Tafadzwa Muza, Xolani Nene, Sinawo Nombekela, Muhammad Olatumbosun Oglola, Nishei Muhammad Isa Pillay, Bime Ismail Popat Popat, Benjamin Abraham van Niekerk. Diploma in Obstetrics of the College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists of South Africa. Luwaji Andri Mola, Mvuyiso Bobe, Marley Elof, Kibuila Papi Feti, Mpimzi Gogo, Najiba Karim, Susan Johanna Maria Leenders, Anek Liebenberg, Lenia Mushaeshaye Mafela, Sumaya Mohammed, Dusmidas Mbeseni, Africa Mbombo, Philippe Muyumba Mbui, Bongumusa Sifiso Mdunge, Tsembekile Ntabiseng Mkonta, Veronica Muachi, Mampato Mudipadi Adolfina Moela, Puluso Moele, Patrico Mutombo Mukadi Unati Mueli, Unati Simamkele Ntsongwana, Ntutuko Knowledge Ngumalo, Chukwuemeka Okafor, Jean Marion Omoni, Ruan Western Brink, Randall Shane Ortel, Temidayo Daniel Ounibi, Rahisha Peters, Phineas Noko Pihlela, Heather Elizabeth Rai, Sanam Rama, San Marie Reineke, Sibonile Zita. Diploma in Ophthalmology of the College of Ophthalmologists of South Africa. Petrus Jacobus Klassen, Sajida Gaby, Emma Jane Joel, Amy Lombard, Clarice Sneyman. Diploma in Primary Emergency Care of the College of Emergency Medicine of South Africa. Adua Akoma Adai, Byron Peter Anthony, Carla Arens, Caroline Janet Armstrong, Shark Veleng Lebe Ochostein, Agiba Bapu, Boris Ilunga Bongo, Hendrik Frederick Brewer, Patrick Louis Chappell, Peter Willem Kutzer, Reino Koros, Saisha Dinorain, Francois Jaco Arnaud Duplessis, Diane Goldwyn Duba, John Eggers, Francois Wiener Rainier Ellis, Rahis Gangat, Sidohi Garach, Christos Panaitotis Halkas, Angelique Hatting, Neil Hatting, Stephanie Hatting, Naomi Hendricks, Nadia Tandi Hussein, Kyla Sarah Jacobs, Juliet Wayego Kaperenge, Samuel Kamande, Sean Peter Kinmont, Angie Kruger, Jacqueline Claire Kruger, Marcus William Kruger, N. Mukami Kuria, Jaco Shepard Lamprecht, Sinetemba Leonard Lubelo, Hlengiwe Elizabeth Precious Mabaso. Dikeledi Dolly Mahakwe. Maris Malherbe. Tato Gideon Mukhashwa. Lucius Sikeletso Munwanwa. Raymond Likhalake Mutukhwane. Kevin Nzioka Muli. Fungai Ndoro. Eleni Nun. Nelson Fundi Nyamu. Ezekiel Aluda Osolika. Kevin Stewart Pasio. Bremer Paul. Shivanthra Ramdas. Elisha Road. Frederick Foshe Rousseau. Nibila Raylands. Piero Sayeva. Radia Sally. Romy Schnaubert. Stephanus Petras Skuman. Daniel Ronnie Still. Maud Iniatula Ula. Jack Roberts van der Ventert. Lure van der Merwe. Marde van Dijk. Carl Jacobus van Heerden. Sileria van Niekerk. Michael Robert Waldeck. Rudy Westraat. Daniel Viever.
In closing this admission ceremony, I really would like to thank our guest speaker for being here today. It is always such an honor to hear your words of wisdom and encouragement. I also want to, firstly, on behalf of the CMSA, again salute our gallant professionals across the globe who continue to bravely work during this difficult period of COVID-19. And in the same breath, I want to honor those who have sadly passed away. Colleagues, being sensitive, understanding, kind and caring and compassionate will be even more important during this difficult time, not only to others, but to ourselves as well. To all our graduates today, I would like to say a few words. And firstly, I'd like you to remember the words from Maya Angelou, where she said, "No man can know where he is going unless he knows exactly where he has been and exactly how he arrived at his present place." You have all worked extremely hard and sacrificed a great deal together with support from your loved ones. As you begin this new journey in your career, never forget where you came from and what it took for you to be where you are. Remain in our beautiful country. Remain humble. Never lose your humanity and continue to do great things. Remember that your voice counts, you matter, and you are needed more so than ever during this time to take your place. I want to say a huge congratulations. I thank the entire CMSA family and staff, our stakeholders and our partners, and I really want to wish us all strength, emotionally and physically, as we navigate the current enormous challenges globally. Godspeed to us all, and may we be guided by the beautiful age-old hymn, "Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is despair in life, let me sow hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there is sadness, ever joy. O Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. I thank you. We will now sing the national anthem. Please stand. The procession will now leave the hall.
Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Post secundam juventutem, post molestam senectutem, nos habebitumus, nos habebitumus. Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Gaudeamus igitur, Juvenes dum sumus. Post secundam juventutem, post molestam senectutem,